SG Reads.
Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today I want to go over a comic series that Marvel put out that was a bit of a parody in and of itself. It was sort of parodying the DC universe, well not sort of, very much so, and a little bit of the Boys universe. This was back when the Boys was barely coming out and we did see a rise in a darker, more cynical tone in comics at the same time. This kind of their reply to that and gave it an interesting storyline and a little bit more towards the canon of the main universe. So I thought this was a series that went far underappreciated because I really liked it overall, and pretty much just want to talk to it about it for my 200 subscriber special. And before we start, I would like to say thank you all for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for sticking around. Those who have been here since the beginning for the readings, I will be continuing those. And the ARGs or analog horrors will still be coming, and I will keep doing my reviews. So thanks again for watching, and I hope that we make it to the 500 mark pretty soon. Thanks again, and if you like this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, now let's get started, shall we? Spoilers ahead, because I will be talking about the ending, and I know that some of you, maybe all of you, have not really read the story so far, but I'm going to talk about it either way, so here we are, spoiler warning. Heroes Reborn, America's mightiest heroes. Blade, from the Blade series, wakes up one day knowing that the world is different. Something's off. There is no Avengers, Fantastic Four, no Spider-Man, none of the original heroes exist, and if they do, they're twisted versions of themselves. But what they do know is that there are hero and villain teams, with their main ones being the Squadron Supreme. They are the stand-in for the Justice League. They are a group that quickly represents Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and all that. And they are cynical, they are darker, they are more intense and more driven than the Avengers ever were. And even the Justice League themselves would think that they're a bit too much too. Now, they have been the heroes of this world for as long as they've known. There has been no Tony Stark, he never got into an accident. There is no Spider-Man, he never got bit by a radioactive spider. But the biggest difference in all this is that Captain America never came out of the ice. He never woke up from the glacier. That being the part in history that has changed everything else, so to speak, if you will. Now, Blade's main objective is not only to figure out what happened to the world they're from, but much more to find the heroes and find people that can and do understand that this world is not what it is. There are heroes like Captain America do come in. We got Thor, who is the forsaken son of Asgard, but finds his will to fight again. We do get Echo, who is at this point the wielder of the Phoenix. Black Panther, who is the king of a forgotten land known as Wakanda, and is hidden beyond all normal man's sight. And the newest addition to the Marvel Universe, Starborn, who is a newborn baby in this universe, but is still intelligent enough to fight back. As for our Squadron Supreme, we have Hyperion, Power Princess, Nighthawk, Blur, and of course, Dr. Spectrum. They act as the heroes of America, representing American value and all that, but take it to their extreme points, which I will talk about in their character breakdowns in a little bit. With the help of Blade and the rest of this newfound or scraped together Avengers, they go out to find what is the common factor in all this, who changed the world, and who it was actually pretty shocking. It's President Coulson in this one. Some of you may know him from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or maybe even the MCU movies. But Coulson in this reality has wished for his perfect world. A world without the Avengers. And that means that it was a world that Captain America never woke up in. He says that it's to make the perfect world under the American banner. Or just one that didn't annoy him that much. And the first step to that was making sure Captain America never woke up. And making a superhero team that was easy and controllable in his eyes, aka the Squadron Supreme, making them so indoctrinated in his ways that they pretty much just followed his orders from the get-go. With the help of Mephisto, who is in this version a dog creature, or a hellhound, they together have changed the very fabric of the universe. Not just the characters, but the very reality in itself, changing each different Marvel character into a different version of itself. Such as Ghost Rider's now the Ghost Runner, we got Rocket Raccoon as a mercenary, so on and so forth. Very interesting world and very different take on this storyline. Now, while I said that Blade is leading this new or hobbled together Avengers, our main focus is the Squadron Supreme. They are acting as the main focus of the story. Our first character is Hyperion. He is the son of a dying planet eaten by Galactus. The last vision he saw before he was sent to Earth was that of the Silver Surfer. Now, he doesn't really remember what his home planet was or what was their main goal sending him there. All he knows is he was there, brought up by good people, and wants to live by the values of the American system. Now, that means that he is a little more intense than a Superman should be. Not quite like the boys' Homelander, but a little more controlled than that, and is needier than most. His weaknesses do consist of Captain America. He's not able to withstand whatever the secret soldier serum is, but overall, the other weakness he has is that he is blindly devoted to Power Princess. Our next character is Nighthawk. Nighthawk has been an in-and-out character of the Marvel Universe, but this is the first time we see him taking a center role since the Defenders. Now, Nighthawk is our equivalent to Bruce Wayne in this universe, only this time he's one that didn't care for his parents at all. He's not really sure why he started being Nighthawk to begin with. He is the Republican representative of the United States, or he is a politician during his day job, but at night he prefers to be Nighthawk. He is able to use a variety of weapons, vehicles, so on and so forth. Everything that you think Tony Stark and Batman are known for, they have. In this reality, he is taking on more of Peter Parker's villains, such as the Green Goblin taking place of Joker. We got Dr. Octopus taking on his Ratcatcher, and Deadpool surprisingly becoming more of a Harley Quinn stand-in. Interesting take, and using Ravencroft Asylum as Arkham Asylum is very fun in itself. Power Princess, of course, our stand-in for Wonder Woman, but she is from a utopian land. She's even known as the last of the Utopians. We don't really know what happened to her people, just that they were a warrior-based people who loved the battle more than protecting themselves. She is strong. She has control over both Nighthawk and Hyperion, but that is more here or there for that, which may have caused a civil war amongst them. And it is shown with Nighthawk having the symbiote on him. Very interesting concept, of course. But she is also very weak to criticism. She does not like... She loves having a fight, but she doesn't like feeling like somebody's above her. So when the Asgardians were destroyed in the War of Ragnarok, she felt empowered, like she has become the new and only god left in the Marvel Universe. But that is when Thor shows up. Our next one is Dr. Spectrum. He, of course, is our stand-in for the Green Lantern, but he is much more devoted, much more in line with a peacemaker kind of character. He believes in what he's told right away from any higher-up power in the government system, especially the presidency. He is a space traveler, known as the most hated man in the universe, even. He has wiped out the Skrulls. The Watchers do not know what he's doing because he blinds them every time. He has even killed the Rocket Raccoon, who in this universe is a mercenary. While he is strong and has the ability to turn anything into hand, the only thing he can think of is weaponry, and he is not that clever to begin with. Once his power prism is gone, it's gone. He doesn't lose his faith and becomes a whimpering mess in the drop of a hat. The Blur is our stand-in for the Flash, of course. Much more of the Wally West with an arrogance to him, and really doesn't care to make friends or fans of anybody. He loves this world because he thinks they love him, but that's only because that's how the press depict it. He has made enemies of the Scarlet Witch after he presumably has taken out Quicksilver, making the Scarlet Witch absorb the abilities of Quicksilver, turning her into the Silver Witch, Speedster Supreme Sorceress, or the Speedster Supreme, if you will. Now, his weakness is that he is too quick, too fast. He does not understand the idea of sitting still and letting life happen. He is overconfident and cocky, which means that his soul has often been ripped from his body, and that because he has himself lived in such a weird environment. He's also been married to Mary Jane Watson in this universe, who is a famous actress, and was taking most of Peter Parker's life, if I'm to be honest with that. There are a variety of other characters that I could talk about that I would like to talk about, and if it is requested or if people are into the idea, maybe I'll do a series of shorts where I talk about all the characters and guest characters that have appeared in the Heroes Reborn series. We do have a weird set of characters, like I said, Ghost Rider being a speedster known as the Ghost Runner, or various other ones such as Hulk being a Bizarro-like character, mainly because he's confused about this reality in it of itself. Jason Aaron is the writer for the main plot points of the story. Very well done, very well put together, and very well paced, I think. It doesn't drag in certain areas. And of course, there are a lot of different side stories and side comics by different writers that are fun to look at. Look like Peter Parker, The Amazing Shutterbug, or American Knights. These are all interesting side stories by different writers. I will probably get to those later on if I get good feedback on this video. But we also have a variety of different artists, our main ones consisting of Matthew Wilson, Scott Hanna, Edgar Delgado, James Stoke, Jason Keith, Erica DeGusso, Aaron Cooter, Dean White, R.M. Guerra. Each one gives their own flair to the story, giving in this idea that this is breaching out far beyond the DC Comics and Marvel, that it's a good mixture of the two. Again, playing off the idea that this is parodying DC, giving it a darker tone when it needs to, a lighter tone when it needs to, and giving you a variety of visuals that do supply you with something to look at, and adds to this world that it's building upon, that we haven't really seen Marvel do in the past. Itself is phenomenal. I do like the way that, as I said before, it does mix the two different companies together. Unofficially, of course. But it does take a lot of pride and take a lot of effort to make a Marvel comic look like a DC comic, because they're so distinctive in their own ways. Like we do get with Nighthawk, an Arkham Asylum style book, where it shows off different villains, even side ones that have been well known in Spider-Man's universe, but giving them a Batman-esque twist. For Hyperion, we do get a Superman vibe, especially with his stand-in for the Legion of Superheroes and Superman. It is very fun, it's very vibrant, very different than what I expected. So I do have to give props to the artist and writer that they did think this very much through, and really makes you think that this is a world that you've read before, but at the same time makes you feel like you want to know more about it. In fact, if it was a continuing series, I probably would read it myself. There are so many references I could note in this, but like I said, there are a lot of references to outside material other than DC and Marvel. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of a series called The Boys. Now, this is a weird throw-in that they did that they didn't even show. That Frank Castle is against the Blur because of an incident that happened with Frank Castle's family after the Blur was fighting a group of alien invaders and accidentally super speed through his family. Now, that's the Butcher storyline from The Boys, which is very funny and very dark, suggesting that this team of heroes in the Squadron Supreme are no better than The Boys. And it's true. You can see it. Their personalities are very much derivative of the Seven. That they are based on DC characters, but their personalities are from the Seven themselves. Hyperion feeling much more of a controlled Homelander vibe. We do get that the worst aspects of Wonder Woman are in Power Princess. We do get that the neediness of the Deep, or whoever you like to say, is in Dr. Spectrum, and so on and so forth. So just these little nods to other outer material is fun to note, but the way they really just dug in and were even kind of lightly jabbing and very much jabbing DC makes this a whole lot more fun and makes this a little more cynical if you think about it. All in all, I do think that this is one of the more interesting storylines Marvel has put out in recent history. There is a lot that I can see a lot of people not liking, but I do appreciate the creative takes they took with this. And I do always appreciate when they're willing to take a jab at their competitors. Because that's always a funny thing when, whether they're in on the fun or not, you can tell that they had fun just parodying, just being funny with this storyline. The characters are interesting, the way they're presented are interesting, and even the ending where Nighthawk is destined or trying to go find how to get back to this world that they prefer, where they're the heroes, and I use heroes in quotation marks. But overall, I do think that this is a good storyline that I feel went under the radar for a lot of comic book readers, mainly because that this wasn't part of the overall continuity, but it did have a good minute, I think, out there. I think it did get a lot of people reading, at least. And a lot of the characters and portrayals are interesting and fun, and did introduce me to a lot of the current going on of the characters that are there. Like, I didn't even know Echo was the current holder of the Phoenix powers when I picked this up. But it fit. It worked out very well. And I do like the twist on the Arkham Asylum, and a lot of these other characters that seem like they would be Batman and Spider-Man characters in this storyline, and kind of separate them amongst each other. I do feel like they did take a lot from Spider-Man, though, just a little bit between the Blur and Nighthawk. But overall, still a good run, and I still like the way that it ended on an open note, kind of suggesting that maybe this will happen again later in the future. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did. I'd really appreciate it, and hope to see you guys next time. Thanks again for 200 subscribers, and yeah, hope you have a great day.